This is one sick ass story that you are about to hear. Now, a few of my subscribers sent me this story right here, and I could not believe just reading the headline just almost blew me away, and not in a good way at all. So this woman's name is Kaitlyn Renee Higgins, and she has been charged with murder. She's 28. That is a haggard 28, might I add. And she has been charged with the murder of her 10-year-old son. Now, here's the thing. She already killed him. They said she tried, but before she shot him, she tried to cut out his tongue. Then she shot him and put his body in the trunk of her car. Now, they do have a picture of the boy, and I'm going to show his picture a little bit later. And it's just like that. When I heard the poem saying about trying to cut out the tongue, it reminds me of a mummification. That was one of the processes that they would do before they would mummify you. It was cutting out the tongue. And that is just the ultimate torture right there. And you can just look at her and tell she has no life in her whatsoever. They are going to destroy her in prison, and hopefully they do. A Kentucky so-called mother, I'm just going to say a womb carrier, allegedly admitted to shooting dead her 10-year-old son and stuffing his body in the trunk of her car after trying to cut out his tongue. Mind you, he was still alive when she tried to cut out his tongue. Kaitlyn Renee Higgins, a haggard 28, was arrested on Tuesday in Louisville and charged with the murder of her son, Kaitlyn Higgins Jr. Officers with the Louisville Metro Police Department were dispatched to Higgins' home after receiving a call from a neighbor who said she saw the mother with a gun and the boy, who appeared lifeless, wrapped in a blanket. When the officers arrived at about 9:30 p.m., they found Higgins sitting on the porch of her home on Algonquin Parkway and noticed blood on the steps. Believing someone was in immediate danger, they opened the trunk of Higgins' car and found Kaitlyn's body. Higgins later confessed to shooting the boy after she tried to cut out his tongue. Higgins was arraigned on charges of murder stemming from domestic violence and tampering with evidence on Thursday. The newspaper said Higgins teared up in court as she claimed she had not been allowed to call anyone from jail. Why? Who would want to talk to you? Who would want to talk to you? You just murdered your child. So I don't even know where my child's being buried or anything, she told Jefferson County's district judge. So you tried to cut out your son's tongue, then you shoot him and stuff his body in the trunk of a car, and you have the nerve to tear up in court and wonder why, one, no one's calling you, and two, you don't know where your child is going to be buried. This chick is off her rocker. She is off the chain, and not in a good way. She said her bond has been doubled from $250,000 to $500,000. Remember, I keep telling you, certain people don't deserve a bond. She's one of them. Citing the violent nature of the alleged crime, she is due back in court on May 3rd. Police have not released the motive for the killing, but said she caused the other injuries to Kaitlyn before shooting him. Maya Lancaster, Kaitlyn's babysitter, told WLKY that she once saw Kaitlyn, whom she affectionately called KJ, with a black eye and scratches on his face and neck. She said she did not report it to Child Protective Services at the time because she feared retaliation from Higgins, who she knew carried a weapon. Lancaster now says she regrets that decision. This should have never happened, Lancaster told WAVE3 News, calling the situation unfair. She had plenty of people if she was struggling to drop him off, Lancaster said of Kaitlyn, who she described as a smart and beautiful child who liked to stay in his room and play games, probably to stay away from her. We would have cared for him. One call is all it would have taken. When she heard the news of Kaitlyn's death, Lancaster said she rushed over to the house on Algonquin Parkway to check on Higgins' other son, a 2-year-old. That child is now safe and in the care of relatives. Higgins' neighbor Taylor Alexandra told WAVE3 News she heard gunshots on Tuesday night while she was on the phone with her friend. The guy across the street told my boyfriend, "Hey, you know, I've seen her carrying a body to the car. It was a little body." The outlet said neighbors had previously called animal services about Higgins allegedly abusing her 2 dogs. Records show Higgins has received 3 citations for animal neglect in the past. I already thought something suspicious was going on in this house due to the animal abuse, Alexandra said. The Courier-Journal said Higgins did not have a prior criminal record and had only received a few citations over the years for traffic-related violations and for not having her dogs properly licensed. In 2014, she filed a domestic violence protection order against the man. In 2014, the newspaper reported and had a divorce case in Jefferson County Family Court involving another man that began last December. This woman just gives me all kinds of satanic ritual vibes. Like, she looks like she has a cauldron in her basement that she stirs every night and does incantations and whatnot. But I feel bad for that little boy. But let me bring up his picture right quick. And this is going to put some things into perspective for you. This right here is the picture of her son that she brutally murdered. Now, you can clearly look at him and tell he has a bit of a tan. A pretty brown tan. And we saw her, she had no tan. So let's put 2 and 2 together. It's pretty obvious that the dad of this little boy is definitely a black man. For sure. He couldn't even pass, honestly. But either way, first off, I need to question the dad. Like, was he drunk or high when he got with that? Like, did she step into a transformation chamber and you saw a supermodel? And then man. This is wild. It's sad. It's unfortunate what happened to this boy. And who knows what other kind of abuse he was going through. You heard his babysitter say that she would see he had bruises and scratches on his face and neck and whatnot. And like I said, he probably locked himself in his room to play video games to get away from her. He probably felt that was the only way or the only form of freedom he had of her was when he was playing his games away from the clutches of his own mother. But I'm glad they got the other son away from her, because this woman does not need to be around kids, and she don't need to be around pets apparently either, because they said she was abusing her dogs. Like, this woman, like, it's like whatever she touches, she destroys. She's like literally a walking witch, for real, for real. But I hope she gets everything that she deserves wherever it is that she's going. And like I said, she does not need a bond, period. But all I can say is rest in peace to this little boy. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. If you have not done so already, make sure you text the number that is pinned down in the comments below so you can receive notifications every time I upload a new video or go live.